Hello and welcome to another edition of Diaspora Weekly here at Diaspora Network Television. My name is Jermaine Nkrumah. Today, as you can see, we're not in the studio. We went on the road and for a very good reason. As you know, Ghana used to be known as Gold Coast. And so Ghana has relied on gold for quite a while. But second to gold is cocoa. Until oil came, cocoa was our bread and butter. No pun intended. And so we wanted to know if Ghana is the second largest exporter of cocoa, what do we do with it? Do we produce it all and get the best of it here, or do we extend it? But we know that we produce a good chunk of it here in Ghana. So we took a trip here to Tema to speak with Nana Agyenim Boateng I, the MD of Ghana Cocoa Processing Company. Nana, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Ekoru, Head of Corporate Social Responsibility for Ghana Cocoa Processing Company. What do we do at Diaspora Weekly? We just want to know who's the man behind there. And in today's case, who's the man behind the mask? We're all wearing masks. Who's the man?
Thank you very much for this opportunity, and on behalf of the board, management, and staff of Cocoa Processing, we thank you very much for this opportunity for the whole world to know something about Ghana cocoa beans and its processing. My name is Nana Agyenim Boateng I. I am a chief in Ashanti region in a town called Amwaman, and I double up here as a servant of CPC, the managing director. So I run the show.
Okay, very good. And so what we're going to do, usually Ghana and cocoa, what do we do with cocoa when we take it from the farms? What do we do with it?
First, I would just want to give you a certain inkling as to how does it come before it's been processed. Mm-hmm. At least that will give the trail and let us all understand, because there are some different of what happens in respective countries as against Ghana. So in Ghana, under the laws of this country, which is Ghana Cocoa Board Law 1984, PNDC 81, it defines that with the exception of Ghana Cocoa Board, nobody can purchase, store, or export cocoa on behalf of government of Ghana. So unlike other countries where other institutions are part of it, in Ghana, it is solely the government of Ghana under the jurisdiction of Ghana Cocoa Board. So Cocoa Board, as the mandatory institution, also goes through processes to deal with the farmer. So in this case, Cocoa Board is the only mandatory institution to deal directly with the farmer. But because they cannot deal directly with the farmer, they have licensed buying companies that acts as an interface between the farmer and Cocoa Board. So in all these districts of Ashanti, Brunafo, Central, Eastern, and Western regions, you have licensed buying companies. They act and they get their money through Cocoa Board. Here again, under the FCC rules, mandatory institutions can do forward or spot. Ghana goes for the forward sales. That is, you sell forward like the futures market. Okay. So here is it that we have here as a demonstration that product has arrived at the takeover points of Cocoa Marketing Company. We enter into contracts and it's sold to us. So then we will pick it from any of the three takeover points. So when it comes from the upcountry, it would have come in this form of raw cocoa beans. So just like these raw cocoa beans, as it is, because it would have come from the process of the sun drying and all these processes, we do a debug cleaning. So the debug cleaning is that ensuring that any dirt, be it any foreign matter, any particle, is thoroughly clean and then roasted
Okay.
So when we roast these beans on the 275 degrees to ensure that all bacteria or anything is, so we call it debacterialization. So to ensure that we have cleared everything. At this stage, then, we take off the cocoa shells. So after we've removed the shells from this product, it is broken into nips. So it is from this nips is then pressed into molten, which we call it cocoa liquor or cocoa mass. So at this stage, which is this one, would have then melted into this stage.
Okay.
So from this level is where then we'll have this as cocoa butter and this as cocoa liquor.
Okay. Okay.
You see?
Right.
So this cocoa liquor, you press it and you get cocoa butter and cocoa cake.
Okay, so why do we call it liquor? Because when you talk about liquor,
Yes, but it's like cocoa mass or cocoa liquor or cocoa molten.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So when you take the fat out, it means you've defacted all fats and then it comes as a kibbled cake. So it means because all the fats is out, it comes in this kibbled cake. So from this level,
And this is pretty hard.
yes,
Very hard.
it is pulverized into powder.
Okay.
So in this form is where you can have it as the natural, which we call it royale.
Okay.
You see. So that's how you consume.
Okay.
So it is this
So
one,
this is the first product that comes, the rawest.
the raw form of it.
Okay.
And it should be a 10 to 12% fat content.
Okay. Wow.
And there are several uses in the next stage that will go on to that one. So from this stage is where one have it as a hot chocolate. Is what then you can translate it into. So you have it on all kinds of the hot chocolate. But we CPC, we have it as an all-time drinking chocolate, which is you add milk and sugar.
Okay.
That's where we have it in here. But we have it in different form where we have this also with all-time with coffee. Because this is also with coffee.
Cocoa and coffee?
Yes, because we in December 2019 saw that we had a lot of client base of coffee consumers.
Okay.
But much as we try to let them know the good benefits of cocoa, you still have some. So to get them into the health consciousness, that's how we did it with this one.
So I mean, that cocoa and coffee together, this is the first time I've actually heard of cocoa and coffee coming back together, except for Takai, the drink. But like this one, when I drink it, am I getting the chocolate effect or am I getting the coffee effect?
You're having both because there is something that you might have heard which is called theobromine. Theobromine is a methacillin activity which helps the system in releasing and thinning the system of the blood.
Okay.
And that's why here you see some people more addicted, and it's found in tea and coffee.
Okay.
So sometimes that's how you have it as coffee break or tea break. So that as you consume, that methacillin thing, which is the theobromine, helps melt any blood clot in the system. But on that weight basis, cocoa is higher.
Okay.
So the bottom effect is that when you blend it, it's nothing.
Oh, okay.
Because there's one defined common thing which is in both.
Okay.
So at the end of the day, it is like nothing happens to it.
Interesting. So this is what we do with our cocoa in Ghana.
Yes. So from this level is with the powder. So when we want to do chocolate, is where we'll mix the two of this.
Okay.
So the two of this will give us the milk chocolate. When you are going with this, is the dark chocolate.
Ah.
So this is what will give you the dark chocolate.
So which means the golden tree has a little bit more fat than this one in terms of content.
Yes, because of the combination of
That's
this.
the one that tastes very good.
Yes, and that is this one from the Princeton report defines that if you consume dark chocolate 70% and above, your immunity level is very high.
Whoa.
And on a one-on-one basis, if you continuous use of this of a 70% 100 gram dark chocolate, it's like taking an 80-gram soluble aspirin.
Okay, now you've got my attention. In the era of COVID-19, we're all trying to boost our immune system, right?
Yes.
You're telling me this cocoa, 70% cocoa, if you consume anything that is 70% or above, you're actually working on improving your immune system the same way that aspirin would do.
Not on this, on cocoa as food.
Okay.
So long as you are taking this, or taking this as a chocolate, you are building your immune system, because the weight by weight basis, cocoa has all that is, because like now they'll say we should take zinc or you should take magnesium. But cocoa is a polyphenol which has all of the zinc, magnesium, potassium, and everything as one. So it is a one complete food.
So
and
like
with the greatest of respect, it's not like today where one is talking about cocoa as food. It is not a medicine. It is a food supplement complete. And it dates back from when the white man started getting into Ghana. They were treating it as cocoa as exchange for gold.
Okay.
And then you got it into the age 600 BC with the Mayans. Okay. They will call it as food for the gods. Because at that time they even mix it with turmeric and then they'll drink it. And because it was increasing their age and making them very strong and healthy, they were just limiting it to themselves as food for the gods.
Okay.
So come back into 1737 and into the 18, 19 centuries, that was what, and in some countries still the chocolate of this one is the ration that they give to the military. Because so long as you take this, it has that whole complete thing, and it gets you on as a food to continue because of what you are getting inside. Okay. Again, continuous consumption of cocoa or dark chocolate in the human system, we have two forms, which is the innate and the adaptive immunity. The innate is the normal, where you eat, your white blood cells and these things are working for you. But as you know, there are some do's and don'ts. For instance, it tells you don't eat heavy food. It takes you some hours before you go to sleep. And a canned shanty man maybe take fufu at 8 p.m., you go to sleep. Meanwhile, telling you that you should wait till 10 hours. Some of these over time, much as the innate will work, it has its limit.
Right.
So it creates a problem for you for diabetes, for hypertension, for any of these problems. Continuous consumption of cocoa, day and night, is where the adaptive comes in. The adaptive also is like there's a challenge in an area where you have some few policemen. The rapid response people that come in immediately will identify the area and flash it out, and they will leave a memory there. So if there's any other issue that happens, they know that this is the hotspot. So continuous consumption of this product will be fighting, that's the human radicals, will be fighting the flavonoids, will be fighting the system, and over time, you become healthy. So in some places even, they talk about it as a good food for fertility. Yeah. All boils up that so long as the system is being cleansed of anything, your bloodstream is working.
Okay, so for a country that's the second largest producer of cocoa, by your own estimation, do we Ghanaians consume enough cocoa products?
No, and this is where the president, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, is talking about the Ghana Beyond Aid. What he is saying that between Ghana and Ivory Coast, we produce 60% of the world. We earn 10 billion. But when it gets into this tertiary, it is 120 billion. Wow. Again, within that 60%, it connects that for every 1 bag of Ghana bean, it's mixed with 3 bags of other countries. Because Ghana, Ivory Coast, Cameroon, Nigeria, is 70%. But when you're talking about the 2, is 60. Within the 60, Ghana is 25 of the 60. So what it means is that if you have a product that for every 1, other 3 is coming, that means that this one, at that 2 billion, has an end when it gets here at 30.
Look at that.
So that is why he is saying that the Ghana Beyond Aid and the value addition. So by that value addition is what, as much as possible, the presidency through the sector minister, Honorable Efri Akoto, is doing as much as possible so that we don't sell the beans, but we assist the local processors to increase. And that's why the target is saying that by 2120, we would have done 50% of the local processing.
Okay, so right now, what percentage are we processing locally?
Since he came, we've been gradually moving on. For instance, if you take about CPs for the first time of 2017-18, nationally, we were able to do 300,000 locally, as against before. Yes.
Okay.
But 18-19 figures, I'm yet to have it. But if you zone it to CPC, that 2017-18, we did 25,089, the highest ever since 1965 when this company was in. The following year, we moved to 28,069.
Okay, so if we're doing about 20% of the local production, the local cocoa production, and the target is to go to 50, what are we doing from the investment perspective, from an investment standpoint, to increase our capacity to be able to process? Because I don't believe, or correct me if I'm wrong, do we have the setup here to be able to produce or process up to 50% of the entire Ghana cocoa production?
Yes, because of the system which Ghana has been noted for, that is 70% sales because of the collateralization. 30% is to local processors. So even if you give the local processors capacity, it is 450,000.
Okay.
So that is how the president and the sector minister and Honorable Boyan Edu, they are moving on to it. So now, what the ministry and Cocoa Board, with the support of the presidency, is doing is that now, under AFDB, because they want to support us in this line, is giving Ghana, supporting Ghana and Ivory Coast with 1.2 billion, for which Ghana will be 600. The first tranche of the money of 200 million is in. First, to look at the solid shoe system and warehouses. Because of the Galamsey issue that is on now, the arable lands have reduced. So what they want to do is that we're doing natural pollination so that the yield per tree will increase. So the target now is to move from 400 kilos per hectare to 1,000 kilos per hectare. In that case, Ghana is now looking at moving to say 1.5 million. If you are moving into 1.5 million, then you need to support the base. So with us as one of the many of the Ghanaians, for which I with all respect, I can't speak for any, what the government has started doing is that like now we are taking care of the school feeding. So we produce for the secondary schools.
Okay.
And before this COVID, we've had $3 million through Prudential Bank to increase our capacity so that we can do more.
Okay.
That's one fair side of the activity, and as much as about the local consumption. Again, AFDB and Afraism is supporting us, for which we are in the initial stage, to increase our capacity from 64,500 to 87,000.
Okay.
So this is all part of where the investment is coming, so that we can process more. And then the confectionery also will move from 3,000 to 15,000.
As the national regulator of the communications industry in Ghana, the National Communications Authority seeks to ensure an environment that is safe and fair for consumers and service providers. NCA grants licenses and authorizations for operation of communication systems and services, develops guidelines to streamline communication activities, establish and monitor quality of service indicators for operators and service providers. NCA is in 8 regions: Accra, Tamale, Takoradi, Kumasi, Ho, Koforidua, Sunyani, and Bolgatanga. Do you have unresolved complaints with your service providers? Contact us on 0800110662, 0307011419 between the hours of 8 o'clock a.m. and 5 o'clock p.m. from Monday to Friday, or visit our website at www.nca.org.gh and follow the procedure for filing a complaint or submitting enquiry. National Communications Authority, communications for development.
Okay, so far you've talked about cocoa product as consumption as food, but you go to the grocery store and you see cocoa butter, like lotions and stuff. Do you do any of those here, or everything you produce here is for food consumption?
As here, as I said, when you press this, you get this fat. So this fat is what is exported for food, for cosmetic, and pharmaceutical.
Oh, okay.
So for the cosmetic is where, like the Palmer's cocoa butter, all these things, or these lotions, as you just said, is what they use.
Okay.
So if directly you are using this one, it means you're having the natural thing on the, like if you look at my skin, that's what I use. I don't use any lotion.
Did you use cocoa product before you started here?
Yeah, it is something that I've used with this one and shea butter.
Okay. Okay.
You see,
So you're very natural.
Yes. So this one is what we, as also part of the tertiary, is what we've packed it in this form. So that as much as possible, not waiting to buy in tons per ton of several thousands of dollars outside, but it's getting it into this level, at least 26 cedis for one of this. It means that it's affordable for everybody can use. You just melt it and you can use it as your lotion. As again, so all these are part of this. And I say at the same time, we have this also where we sell to the bakery institutions so that they can use that for their cakes and all this stuff. So basically what, as part of to support the government program, is trying to get it in its lowest form so that it's affordable to all.
Okay, so the cocoa beans that we don't process here, we export.
Yes.
But the ones that you process, say in a powder form and all this, do we use all those locally, or we do export some of those as well?
Yeah, we do export.
You export some of those?
We do export some. So here we have, as you see, there are different forms. Like you see the white chocolate. So when we are having it like this, it's where you see the white chocolate.
Okay.
So this is the white chocolate in this same form. So that as much as possible, we're trying to let the world know that it is not anything like one will say, oh, I've got white chocolate from outside. Because if you are using a single origin country bean, which is the whole world knows about Ghana bean, and you are getting it into a product, that means you are getting the natural thing, which is organic in itself. Because if you look at the process that we go through, it is a 5 days fermentation, 7 days sun dry. So, and 275 degrees roasting and pressing. So at least you are assured of whatever that you are getting.
Right.
And then you have it. So the mauve color is what is for export. So that's how we define it. Okay. So this one is the export and this one is the local.
The local. Is it the same product?
Yes, the same product.
The same product. Okay. Now, and so if I'm interested in exporting the Golden Tree chocolate, I don't necessarily have to get a red one.
You go for the export flavor.
Export. Okay. What's the difference?
Is the recipe.
Is the pack? Oh, the recipe.
The recipe.
Is it fat content on the nutrition?
Yeah, that is the secret.
Oh, okay.
But at least it's the recipe which defines it, just like you take it outside. Okay. But with mine, real tasting cocoa. And this is also for the diabetic.
Okay.
So this is aspar. That's also, we take it also for
So the
those who,
question I have then would be, why is the recipe for export different from the recipe that we consume at home?
yeah, because of the climate,
The climate, okay.
yes.
Also, I know that in developed countries, you have to look at the nutritional contents on the.
No, those are same. It is only the
Okay.
climatic condition that changes it.
Okay.
So even if you still take this, it is perfect.
It is the same, okay.
You
And
know, but
taste-wise, the same?
the only thing is because of the climatic condition,
Mm-hmm.
when one takes this and gets into winter, you just say that the Ghana chocolate is very hard and
It's
brittle.
hard, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So that is why I'm saying that it's just
Got
the
it.
climatic condition.
Yeah.
But if you're just taking it and it's within the shorter, like today, you are going and you bought this, nothing. It's okay.
Very good. So let me shift into the difference between Ghana's cocoa and Cote d'Ivoire's cocoa. Is there a difference?
Yes, and the difference is what I just said. That the difference is how Ghana treats it from
From the tree.
from the harvesting, fermentation, sun drying. That is the difference between Ghana and Ivory Coast.
Really? Okay. So the process from what we do with it from the tree
Yes.
is different from theirs.
Yes.
And now they are exporting, they're producing more. So are we inhibiting ourselves by taking us through the type of.
Yes. The difference is the premium that we have in addition to that.
Okay.
So now that we're getting the premium, and now that government and the banks are supporting Cocoa Board to increase the yield, then means that it will have it like that. Because like now, on the same tree, by the natural pollination, we are going to get more on the same tree because the arable lands of the galamsey has reduced some in effect. But if you are doing natural pollination, you are still getting more per tree. And that's what now they are looking at from 400 kilos per hectare to 1,000 kilos per hectare.
Okay.
And that alone is going to move
Increase about
into
150%.
150%. So gradually, when we are getting there, that's where now you are getting twofold, increasing productivity and enhancing it with a premium. Then also getting it into tertiary, value addition, and also earning some money. So in a way, like as you have it here, we have spreads, which outside call it as Nutella. But we also have this, which we are having in it with a tiger nut. And we have one also, which we are using cashew.
Okay.
So these are all things that, as much as possible, these are other products which are in abundance in Ghana. And everybody knows of the good effect of cashew and tiger nuts.
Okay.
There is vitamin D and E. So when we are blending it with cocoa as a paste
Okay.
for a breakfast, that is also enhancing it. We have these also where it's like the dragis. You see it outside, and this is in the nuts form. And this we have this also of the artisanal chocolate.
Okay.
You know, it always comes to town. So like now also we have it like, so it's not anything which one will come and say, oh, I bought chocolate with walnuts, I bought chocolate with macadamia, I bought chocolate with almond from outside bringing here. We're doing it all here.
Okay.
So in effect, even on a one-on-one basis, you are tasting a product of a chocolate with walnut, with a chocolate with almond, with chocolate with macadamia, and the one from outside. That's where then the consumer would then define the difference. That I'm eating something which is food and healthy, as against something which is looked as a candy.
Okay. You know, in other industries, let's say petroleum, for example, you have Exxon that has moved to Ghana to produce and market. Why do you think, despite the fact that Ghana, we produce, we're the second largest producer, we're not seeing Cadbury and Hershey come back here to establish their processing plant here for export? Why are they insisting on us sending them these things so that they can produce it into the final enriched type of products?
I think I said earlier that it's the beans that is being sent,
I know.
and now government is saying that if this 10 billion can get here 120, then I would rather do a value addition. Because even if we move from here to this semi-finish, it is still better than this raw beans.
Okay.
So now, if that is the direction of the ministry and
So
the government,
basically, we don't need them. We can take it
so
from here.
you can come here and just get it into this one and still sell it outside.
How do we plan to dominate the world market with all these natural products? I mean, when I go to United States or UK, I want to walk onto the shelves and see these products. What are we doing to make sure that that happens?
Again, here, this government's vision is the value addition and the Ghana Beyond Aid. So how was he going to see this through? By increasing capacity and creating awareness.
Okay.
So by that awareness is that, okay, CPC is a government institution, that is the majority shareholder between Cocoa Board Senate and Ministry of Finance. That's the majority shareholder. So they will support us with this base.
Okay.
So before COVID, we had this investment. We had done trips to China. So had it not been for this, there's a program which is a TEXPO. And that TEXPO is $1.2 trillion. And it's noted for only coffee and tea. And in 2018, the sector minister, Honorable Freya Koto, we went there and we announced our presence. The following year, they gave us a 200-meter space, and that was very huge. So had it not been for this COVID, this year, we got through some contacts and an agreement to get to that market. Here also with the assistance of the Excellency Edward Boateng. So we were looking at even gradually moving into even 1% of China was about 40 million. You see. Then also, Mr. Rule and his team also, we did some activities in Spain. And that also was another area. Just yesterday, the consul in Dubai got to contact with the sector minister, Honorable Freya Koto, where they also want us to get into Dubai because we did some trade samples at the embassy and they are very happy. So they also want to come down. The same is with, but it's this COVID that has temporarily slowed down. Okay. So this is one side of it which we want to expand. So it is in the light of this that, as I said, we want to increase the capacity from the 3,000 to 15,000. Then also the local consumption. Sometimes people give it that from these schools, what happens if another government comes and decide to scrap it? Yeah. And I always say that by which time we would have embedded it into the person. So if now somebody is in SS3 moving into tertiary, he's carrying it along because he knows the good benefits he's got in this one. He goes to start working. He also knows it and getting it to so gradually that's how it's going to go. So that is one base of it. Again, also now letting people know, like just like this, in the light of this COVID era. Nobody is saying it, but we are saying that build your immunity. So if you take the 5 top polyphenols, it is cocoa and dark chocolate, cloves and spices, 2. 3 is fruits, 4 vegetables, 5 nuts. So if you have a 5 top polyphenols which will build your immunity, and top on the line is cocoa and dark chocolate. So what that it means that if anybody is talking about citrus fruits, is talking about cloves and spices, because everybody knows the good effect of garlic as an antibiotic. They say coffee. Everybody knows the good effect of ginger, which is a natural blood thinner. And one of the new discoveries of this COVID-19 is platelets or thrombosis. So the blood clots, it makes it difficult for blood to stream up here into the lungs. And that's why those on ventilators, they cannot have that effect. Because like every morning, the first test that you need to do is a breathing of out. So if you're able to do this and you have any pain in here, then you have to check it. So gradually getting these products in assist the system.
Wow. You've spoken so much about the internal system. If I didn't know any better, I would think you were a doctor, right? You spent a lot on how it does to the body system. Right? Did you start that here, or that's something that you had always done?
No, I'm only talking about cocoa acid effect and what it does
to the body.
So that's why I'm just saying that it is a one product, which you can have it, and if we talk about it, it's not going to end today. Yeah. You can take cocoa itself as a good immunity in terms of health. How? It gives you a good sleep. It clears your system of the cleansing, toxic cleaning, and anti-aging.
Wow,
and anti-fatigue. Yes, and your skin. Because it is a one complete whole food.
Wow.
Cocoa consumption is a food that you have everything, the complete polyphenols all in one product.
So how come we don't consume enough here?
Yes, and it is the challenge that we have, that if you have it as, because always the perception has been as cocoa or chocolate as a candy.
Okay, yes.
That is where the perception is. People see chocolate as a candy, but not as food.
Okay.
And that's what gradually we want to create that awareness, because it was after the 1935s when it was being used as a candy. And that is from there is what imported in, and now people see it like that. So gradually we want to let the world know that the product, be taking it as this, just even chewing this beans, getting it into this level, or any of the product, when the cocoa content is high, then you are taking food.
Food. So cocoa as food, not as candy.
Not at all.
What do you say to the Ghanaian? And this is, if I'm a Ghanaian and I want to eat ampesi, I know it's yam or plantain and everything, but if I want to get into the beverage era, I'm thinking, oh, this is made in Ghana, but if I, those people, they make it better. There might be that perception in people's mind that once you get in the processed food realm, then I'll better play it safe and buy the cocoa product that was made in China or UK. What do you say to that Ghanaian, that in terms of our products competitiveness?
And there's this awareness creation is where now we're moving into, product development is about packaging. And that many a time has been the challenge of the comparison. Because what is it that is seen? The product development just switches the mind that, there can be nothing better. But if you have it at this same packaging, just like any product packaging from Europe, that is where then it compares to that first stage. That is on site before looking at content. So that's why we got into this stage when the African trade was coming into Ghana in July. Because that is also a huge market of over $1 trillion with a 1.2 billion population. So we were just looking at it that, can we take advantage of that? So that even if Europe is not coming on board, you have a 1.2 billion into a 1 trillion market. So then what are you going to trade yourself among? If it's about a product, then it is this. So where does the packaging situate into it? Then that's where you are there. Then when the consumption comes in, that's where you get a thumbs up. So then on that whole, he sees it from outside and within. And this, I think, that hitherto was one of our challenges, which was not attractive. But if I have this on the shelves in any place of Tesco or Walmart or any place, there's nothing that anybody can take me out in terms of anything. And that's where then consumption then rates me into the next level. Because at that level, he would then be comparing my hot chocolate to the others, and he say, this one, I hear, I see, or feel, taste more cocoa. The effect is this is what is. When I took it, I felt that I'm getting better as against the other one. Because sometimes also we have this like the Royale, which is the natural powder. It should be defacted and the fat content should be 10 to 12. It can be any natural powder from anywhere. But if that person cannot have that machine to defact, you pour this in hot water, but you see some oil particles. So then gradually the person says, you say this is good. But when I take it, I'm getting plumpy. I'm having fat deposits. I go and I'm getting tired. So it means the effect of what it should do is not doing it. Right. And it's still natural powder. So you say, oh, what are you talking about? And that's what we have defined, that it should be 10 to 12. Okay. If I'm taking candy and it can melt in Ghana, that's our secret, that we can sell chocolate in the streets, but no other chocolate can be sold in the street. Okay. Because the cocoa content in our recipe is more. The others, because it's less, immediately it will melt under the sun.
Okay. Now, you mentioned the AFCTA, African Free Trade Area, African Continental Free Trade Area. That's going to be headquartered in Ghana.
Yes.
So the countries will be coming in. But it strikes me that if the school feeding program has put your product in front of the school children, the high school children in Ghana, it seemed to me that if you go to Nigeria and you're able to make a convincing argument to them, your product now gets into about 6 times that many people. Is that something that is an option?
Yeah, that is also, that side of it, we've already started.
Okay, good.
They also, like their FDA, they also have it as NFDA. Okay. So gradually we're trying to get those documentations through. Okay. And then we have it there. We've done first there, several first, and we've got all the processes sorted out.
So you mentioned food, cosmetic, and pharmaceutical, yes. The 3 uses. Are there any other uses that we don't know of for cocoa product?
Basically, that is what it is for.
Okay.
Because food as consumption, then for the cosmetic and the pharmaceutical.
Okay, so those 3 are there.
Yes.
All right, let's shift to investment. When you were talking about the government's intervention and where it's planning to take the cocoa processing company and the cocoa processing as a whole in Ghana, I've mostly heard about government funding. Do you get private funding for what you do?
CPC is listed on the stock exchange.
Okay.
So government, institutions, and individuals have all bought into it and are shareholders.
Okay.
Government only supports because it is the majority shareholder.
Okay.
The onus is on management to run the show and account yearly to the owners of the company at the annual general meeting. Okay. So all that government can do is to influence Cocoa Board to say, give him more beans to process. Okay. So that even granted without admitting that you have some challenges in terms of your funding, you can say, okay, how much can you pay? So like, let's say this is 1,000. Can the person pay 500? Give it to him, I'll guarantee. Okay. But he cannot give us one of dispensation against other processors. Okay. So that is the market. Today, if the features market is $1,000 FOB, it cannot say CPC should buy it at 600. No, within that same 1,000, and then government supports you. So all that government is doing is as much as possible to support us with our needs and wants. Okay. And that ably has been supported by Honorable Dr. Freya Kutu and Honorable Boye.
So CPC is under the Ministry of Agriculture,
yes.
Not Trade and Industry.
No.
As the national regulator of the communications industry in Ghana, the National Communications Authority seeks to ensure an environment that is safe and fair for consumers and service providers. NCA grants licenses and authorizations for operation of communication systems and services, develops guidelines to streamline communication activities, establish and monitor quality of service indicators for operators and service providers. NCA is in 8 regions: Accra, Tamale, Takoradi, Kumasi, Ho, Koforidua, Sunyani, and Bolgatanga. Do you have unresolved complaints with your service providers? Contact us on 0800110662, 0307011419 between the hours of 8 o'clock a.m. and 5 o'clock p.m. from Monday to Friday, or visit our website at www.nca.org.gh and follow the procedure for filing a complaint or submitting enquiry. National Communications Authority. Communications for development.
Would you buy anything without first knowing exactly what the product was and how it could benefit you? Definitely not. Neither should you vote for your next member of parliament without knowing who they are and how they plan to solve your problems. Watch The Next MP only on Diaspora Network Television and find out the men and women who want to represent you in parliament. The Next MP only on DNT.
The year of return brought in a lot of people of African descent all over the world to Ghana. And with what's going on, COVID-19 and George Floyd's case, a lot of black people are now looking at Africa. We at Diaspora Network Television, we have a large segment outside the borders of Ghana with regards to the African diaspora. Some of them have approached us. They're talking about, okay, if I want to move, if I have money, what do I invest in? What do you have to say to the African American who has a lot of dollars looking to invest in Africa but doesn't know where to?
Some of these things depends on what the person wants to do.
Okay.
So it will be very difficult for me to just sit here and say, bring your money and come and do this.
Okay.
Some of these things are where you have the GIPC in to support.
Okay.
So I want to use this medium that if it is on my side of it and on the other side, we can work together.
Okay.
So you can get it into your supermarkets or you can get it. Sometimes it is difficult, but you can do merchandising. So you get to Tesco and all these places and buy your space. And then you will deal with me and then advertise the product. So anybody gets into the supermarket, gets to your corner and is buying from there.
Okay.
Or with the local Ghanaians also, they can get into the African markets and also can be patronizing some of these things. These are all part of it that if they have not made up their mind to come over. But with others who want to do other serious businesses, I can take this opportunity that the GIPC, Ghana Investment Promotion Council, that's why they are there.
Okay.
And it is also under the Ministry of Trade.
Okay.
So whatever that you are bringing in at the Ministry of Trade and Industries, it can be cited. And with the support of, like as I sit here, Nananom, for which I will be one of the many, can also assist you with the lands.
Okay.
So that based on what you want to set up, you can still go through the One District One Factory. Because the One District One Factory, in its real effect, is not a government or that of a government fund, no. But it's like it can be cited. So if one is interested to do any products of, let's say pharmaceutical or cosmetics, it can be an off-taker to these bins. You set up in any of the districts. So like if you, for purpose of discussion, if you want to set up in my place, it will be under Nkari in Ashanti region, which will be a 1D, 1F.
Okay.
So that way, the off-taker is buying butter, processing it in cosmetics and exporting.
Okay.
So it comes in different forms
Okay.
of whichever way the person wants to do. You want to do business with us, you can buy bulk powder, and you also want to do co-processing.
Okay.
Not directly under my name, but it's under your trade name. It can be anything.
When you take over a company, as you did. When did you take over?
2017.
2017. So you've had 3 years now. Can you get into how you have moved this company forward in terms of numbers, production, and everything? Would you like to go into that?
No, because it is not a singular effort.
Okay.
Because you cannot say.
Right, under your
Yes.
leadership.
Yeah, but all that we can say is that from 2017, we have moved on from where our predecessors left.
Okay.
And from our plan and what our intent is what we see around.
Okay.
Because we wanted to associate and identify with the vision of the government, and that is what is the Ghana Beyond is and the value addition.
Okay.
So if it's value addition,
Okay.
and there's this product, and you are noted as the best, for which if you see these awards, we've gone several, and the whole world bring chocolate on exhibition, and CPC has been at a point in time where even on the council.
I was told you
see.
guys don't want to participate because
Yes.
you chop first. It's
So the
become
question
boring.
is, so there it means that if you are coming from here and you've chopped first and you don't want to come again, then it means that you have something. So then the story is that what left you off that you can continue.
Okay.
And this is what this new management is trying to create that with, because the name and the brand is already there.
Right.
Even you go with a semi-finish, everybody knows Potem. That is Pot of Tema.
But
That's
in
for
terms of
semi-finish.
production capacity, have there been a steady trend, an increase in?
Yes, I think I mentioned it that in 2017-18, for the first time in the history of this company, since Kwame Nkrumah in 1965, we did 25,000. That's even higher. So even before 2003, that we went into the stock exchange. This is the first time. The following year,
25,000
and 89 tons.
tons. Okay.
Yes. But here also it's prudent that I mentioned that Kwame Nkrumah's machine, which was the first factory, and President Kufuor did the second factory.
Okay.
So here, as you have in this 37-acre land, there's a 3 factory in one.
3 factories.
Yeah, so
Kwame Nkrumah made one.
President Kufuor the second.
They made the second.
And then the third is the confectionery.
Which is made when?
That started with Kwame Nkrumah,
Okay.
but added on by President Kufuor.
Okay.
So this is where we also want to add on with the retooling and replacement of some of the old Kwame Nkrumah part. And that would then bring us to full capacity of the 87, not the number capacity of 64. So when we get it into the full capacity 87, and not the number 64 for which a certain percentage is working. Because one will ask that if you have a 64-500 and you've done 25, then what is the news? But the 64 is though on paper, but because some is Kwame Nkrumah, you have some defects. So with this percentage of audit machine working, it's what now you are saying that between what was started, what is added on, and what we ought to add on is a retooling, replacement, and new acquisition. So this is where we want to take it, and the same is with from moving from 3 to 15,000. Again, some of our costs that we've identified was with water, because as I said, we're doing a lot of roasting. So we've sunk a lot of boreholes and gotten it into an arrow to reduce our water.
Okay.
The next level that we also want to use is to use cocoa husk and these shells to do a biomass generation.
Okay.
So that we can generate our own heat
Okay.
and steam and electricity
Okay.
and wean ourselves from ECG.
Oh wow.
So
you
that
can,
also-
you can from these products you can generate your own power.
Yeah, we are going to do CPH, which is the cocoa husk and the shells. So even these shells, yes.
So you can generate power from.
Some institutions only use this.
Wow.
Yes. We can use it for manure, we can use it for pig feed, we can use it for energy. But the biomass is a polygeneration. Polygeneration is 2. you are generating power and as potash. Upcountry, they use the cocoa pod for soap. That's potash.
Right.
So that's why you have it in cocoa. This, when they break it and leave the CPH in the field, that's how you have their all their products very green and big.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes for some of them, you would know, or I believe the cocoa acid barrier, cocoa acid barrier can be very big because of the cocoa.
There are two things that you mentioned, and I really want to get back on it to make sure that I heard you clear. The first one being that, I mean, you try not to get into political stuff, but Kwame Nkrumah set this up. But you're saying that upon successive governments, all that, it wasn't until before that the second factory was added to the original one. What does that tell you about where we're going as Ghanaians?
Here also, it is, again, I'll plead to say that it is the, how do we call it, the manifesto. So it depends on the direction of the person, which they will qualify it as their manifesto.
Priority.
So that's their priority. So Nana comes and he says his manifesto or vision is to do Ghana beyond aid and value addition.
I got it.
It can be another person comes and he doesn't see that as a priority.
Okay.
You see, but if everybody is towing that line, that would have been where we would have been now.
Yeah, because now when you tell me that this one, you heard it here first. I never thought of cocoa and energy. And you're telling me from this, you can generate your own energy where you want, you're not going to need ECG.
Oh, we've done it, and so this is what it is. So you can see here a biomass to combine heat power. So this is first the gasification plant, where you have the cocoa husk and the cocoa pod in here. So this one will feed it, and it will give you a syngas. So this syngas will generate through the gensets, and then it will give you steam and then a CPH and a steam. So from this steam, we have excess of hot water, which will have it here. So the electricity will power here for us, including that one. The steam will be used to do this.
Wow. Can we take a shot of this?
Yes.
Wow.
That for every one pod, you have an average of 80 grams of this in that pod.
Okay.
So what it means is that 1,000 grams will be times 12.5.
Okay.
So every yes. So this is how cocoa pod is shaped like. When you open it like this, 80 grams of this averagely is in this.
Okay.
So this 80 grams, it means that for every one, it's 80 grams. So 12 and a half of this will give you 1,000 grams.
Okay.
Then another 1,000 of this will give you 1 ton. So 12 and a half times 1,000 will be 125,000. It's 1 ton. So if Ghana is producing even 900,000 tons, it means you have in excess of this over 1.3 million just left in the farm.
Wow.
You understand? In region by region basis, to generate a 4 megawatts, it is central region accounts for 9% of the Ghana purchases. So 9% of 900,000 is 81,000. So that 81,000, 4% of that is what will give us the yearly 4 megawatts electricity for here. So it means if 9% of Ghana produce can generate 4 megawatts, that's where your question is coming in. So granted that we were to do all the 900,000 here, it means if 9% is to 4 megawatts, so what is 100?
Maybe 42 or 45 megawatts.
So let's say times 10 times 10. So 42 megawatts, and it will at least give, like this hub, electricity to reduce.
Dependent on. The question is the cost of production, the cost of transferring these into the power. If it's more cost effective than.
Oh yes. So here, this whole project, which the board has approved, is a $12 million investment.
$12 million investment to produce 4 megawatts.
Yes. And give me a 13 TPH steam and a potash and charcoal.
That's a cheaper way of
so
producing
these are all byproducts. The potash is a byproduct which you can sell for those who are using it, and the charcoal too I can export for those who are doing grilling, and those who use it for heat outside. These are all byproducts.
Wow. These are all byproducts.
The heat and the charcoal, the potash and the charcoal are byproducts. So the main one is the electricity.
Okay.
Because the syngas will go through the heat.
Okay.
And then the generators will power.
Interesting.
So then it gives you the steam. The steam will give you keeps, because over time to the cooling system, the chillers will give you ice cubes.
I want to ask you about your people, because notice one thing. When I talked to you about where you've moved the company, first thing that came out of your mouth is that this is not a singular effort. That tells me that you're the kind of leader that puts a lot of emphasis on the people that he works with. Tell us about the people that you work with at CDS.
Yeah, the people like us at CDS, one would have thought that such an interview will be, it's about the managing director. But here you have with me my brother, who is the corporate boss. So from whatever that we would have discussed here, much as he knows, and because it's a teamwork, what he knows and what I'm saying, he may add on. So for any reason, if anybody should call Mr. Rule to speak on CPC, he doesn't need to defer to me.
Okay.
So that is how it works. If you come about product development, we have an IPPDT team, which is internal product development. So we just wake up and we say, this thing is coming from here, how can we do it? We go around it in that IPPDT, several testing. We get into a sensory team, the sample, and say, no, it compares. Well, like as we're talking about this tiger nut, you see all these small girls around selling, talking about tiger nut and the effects. But if we're able to do a mass production of this, for which people are recognizing tiger nut's effect as a vitamin E, nobody will, instead of buying a product of vitamin E for fertility, you would rather want to take this.
Okay.
So by this one, we are creating employment.
Okay.
As we are getting into this activity, when it is completed,
Okay.
now we're going to create employment for rural folks to gather this one, which they would have left it in the farm, and sell it to us.
Okay.
But this is our raw material.
Okay.
And it gets into this gasification tank as storage. So now it is one form of it that hitherto transporters who will be transporting will also get some job to do.
Okay.
So that is where sometimes when we talk about it, you say that the non-core staff, what job are they doing? You see, so basically the awareness creation and the sensitization of people here, letting them understand that this is one thing that we do, we save.
Okay.
You see, and that's how we have it, and we move with it.
I want to end with the silos. When we were coming, we saw the silos, and I think it's been in the news lately. How are we using the silos? What's the story?
Initially, when the first president was getting onto this factory, it was his intention, because as you remember, or you might have heard, was a challenge with these people buying the product. And many a time that is the challenge, you see. So product sale is about supply and demand. And many a time that is where the challenge is with respect to FOB. And as our government and president are seen ahead and it's talking about the value addition. Because if even I have this as base, if I get it into this stage, it is 2 years. So even if Ghana has surplus recordings in this, and it's a challenge because our purchasers would have had enough in the light of maybe this COVID. Even if he promotes and gets it to this level, at least we can wait till 2 years for COVID or anything to settle. But we cannot store such things up to 2 years.
Okay.
So the president had this vision to store so that if and take his time not to do any forces. And unfortunately, it didn't work.
Okay.
So it was not completed before the coup overthrow.
Oh, okay.
However, just about before the COVID, that was in January, the president discussed with the Cuban ambassador, Cuban ambassador to Ghana,
Okay.
as to what he can do with this.
Okay.
And I don't know, but for your information, Cuba is one of the countries that are always interested in old artifacts and antiques to work on that.
Okay.
So they also see that it is something that is doable.
Okay.
So until this COVID-19, it was a one discussions that
That was
had been discussed as to how best they can work on this one to complete. So it is something in the pipeline which we are trying to work on it. Because if we want to increase production, we should look at storage.
storage. Okay.
And that is what is they are looking at. But even with us that we have some here, some which was completed for this factory, just 3 silos can store as much as 1,050 tons of cocoa.
Oh wow.
So you can have just one and you have 350 tons. But when you put 350 tons on a stack, it has to cover 100 pallets. So when we get our product of how our cleaning system is,
Yeah.
we just cut 1,000 and it saves us on our space.
Okay.
And this one is like a returning effect. So every time that you are producing,
Okay.
you can reduce your warehouse space into this one.
Okay.
So it is something that everybody is looking up to it, that it comes back.
Very good. Nana Jenny Boateng, MD of Ghana Cocoa Processing Plant. Thank you so much for your time. I also want to thank Mr. Koru and these two gentlemen have been gracious enough to host us here at the Ghana Cocoa Processing Plant. Mr. Rule, after the introduction, actually prior to the introduction, deferred all interviews to the MD, and he's played the supporting role, and we appreciate that. And for you, Nana Jenny Boateng, I thank you for taking us from the beans to the final products. I think it's been an education. And so on that note, I want to sign off. This has been Diaspora Network Television's flagship Diaspora Weekly. My name is Jermaine Nkrumah. Thank you for watching.